Hi dear students and welcome to my tutorial. In our today's tutorial, we'll be learning about the Nios English, code number 202, chapter number 7, the shoe shine. Now, the shoe shine is basically the story about a child. I was standing outside the tea house in Connaught Circus, idly watching the traffic. I wondered if I could afford a cup of coffee and a plate of potato chips. When a shoe shine walked up and put down his box in front of me. Cream and polish, sir? He asked. Your shoes need a polish, sir. The boy persisted. Yes, I know, I said, smiling. But I can't afford it. Can't afford it? The shoe shine replied, joining me with a smile. Only 4 annas, sir. I haven't got 4 annas for a shoe polish, I said, walking away. But there was a puzzled and hurt expression on his face, as if I was making fun of him. You see, I'm looking for a job. The boy picked up his box and started walking with me. Can't get a job with dirty shoes like that, sir. The boss sahibs won't like it. The boss sahibs don't seem to like me in any case, I answered, beginning to get irritated. Polished shoes won't make things any better. I wanted to get rid of the boy, but he persisted in walking with me. You don't live in Delhi, he said after a while. No, I replied firmly. I come from Calcutta and I don't want my shoes polished. I have an uncle who works in Calcutta, he went on. Earns a lot of money in the house of Bengali Babu. Instantly, the thought seized me. And how much money do you earn? I questioned. Oh, it all depends. On a bad day, about 3 rupees, or a good day when there are lots of tourists, about 5, sometimes more. I did a spot of quick calculation in my mind. The answer sent a shiver through me. The shoeshine earned more than Ram Singh, a clerk in government office? Here at last was a solution. Do you think I could? I hesitantly. What, sir? Polished shoes? Like you, I mean. Polished shoes, the boy asked, stopping head dead. On the pavement like me? I didn't expect the loud laugh that followed. It took me a lot of persuading Showan Lal, for that was his name, refused to believe that I wasn't making fun of him. He had to leave school 2 years before his matriculation. Why should I want to do his job when I had been to university? If he could speak English, he certainly wouldn't be polishing other people's shoes. He would sit in an office and be a sahib himself, earning a regular monthly salary. But he hadn't been born under a lucky star. His father had died of smallpox about 3 years ago. No shoe shining was no job for an educated man like himself, like myself. What would my friends say? I explained that I had no friends in Delhi and that I had left home without sitting through my exams, and most important, that even if I did apply for a clerk's job, I would be earning less than him. But think of status of working in an office with an electric fan over your head, Showanlal argued. There is that, I suppose, I replied, smiling. But I have to get a job straight away. Well, my friend said, reluctantly giving in. If you really want to, I mean, I don't know how the others will take it. There is a shoeshine union, and Connaught Circus is a profitable place. If there's an extra shoeshine, it means that everyone else earns a bit less. I hadn't thought of it like that, and Showan Lal has opened up a whole new world for me. For the moment, I lost the feeling of hopelessness and despair which had possessed me ever since I arrived in Delhi. To work as a shoeshine became the most important goal in my life. But if I can persuade the others, Shoman said, breaking into my thoughts, you will need to get all the stuff. A box like this, one brush, cream, and polish, and some rags. Yes, of course, I replied, drawn back to reality once again. And how much will all this cost? About 10 to 12 rupees. Shoman answered, shouldn't be much more than that. Really? I said and started laughing. Why? What's the matter? Don't you believe me? Of course I believe you, but the simple fact is that I only have 5 rupees and some loose change. That this time, Chawanlal was really shocked. His mouth fell open and his eyes shot up in surprise. You mean you really mean? I'm afraid I do, I replied. You see, I could even never have an electric fan over my head. He closed his eyes and his face became thoughtful while he put his hand in his pockets of his half pants several times. Well, he said, we shall have to find a way. It was nearly 6 o'clock and we walked a few yards in silence towards the Rivoli cinema, where our show had just ended. Showanlal quickens his steps. I must work now, but you come to see me at 11 o'clock after the last show. Then I shall talk with my friends and see what they say. All right, I nodded as I watched him walk away. And don't worry, he shouted just before he turned the corner. If they let you work there, we'll find money somehow. I walked along the streets of Delhi. I wondered what the history of my country meant to me. Here was a land where man had achieved greatness on every plane: astronomy, algebra, architecture, even poetry, music, and art. Yet in this very city, where seven empires had come and gone, where Akbar and Ashoka ruled, I could not get a job, and a boy like Shovanlal had not been able to finish his schooling. By 11 o'clock, I had walked 8 miles. When I met Shovanlal, Connaught Circus was nearly deserted. Hello, Shovan said, greeting me in Hindi. Hello, I replied as a few men around him moved aside to let me come in to him. These are my friends, Shovanlal added, waving his hand over the group. What do they have to say about my working with them here in Connaught Circus? Well, Shovanlal replied, pulling a face. Just then one of the younger men started speaking very fast in a strange dialect I could not easily follow. This was taken up by an older man, and in a few minutes 4 others joined in. When they stopped talking, Shovanlal, who had been quiet all the time, translated for me. The union was having trouble with the authorities. They had refused to grant a license to the Shoeshines. All the hawkers could apply for one. So in effect, polishing shoes on the pavement was illegal, like begging, and one had to depend on the goodwill of the policeman. The head of the Shoeshines Union knew some English, but obviously someone with better knowledge of the language would be of great help. So though most of group was against letting me in, they had reluctantly agreed to give me a chance provided I helped out with their correspondence. I literally jumped for joy and gave Shovan Lal a close hug. They also say, he added, that we take a collection for you to buy the box and the rest of the materials, so you can keep the 5 rupees to buy food and other things till you begin to earn a little. And after a few weeks, you can pay back the money for the box. A toffee tin was passed around, and a little over 7 rupees was collected that evening. We will get more tomorrow, Shogunlal said. When the rest are here, you know there are 30 of us who work in Connaught Circus. The group dispersed and went home with Shogunlal that night. Sasti Barata, an adaptation. So this was a story about Shovan Lal and the boy who was the Shoeshine already, who helped the boy who came from Calcutta in order to help him out, in order to get the job, because the person was jobless and looking for a job and had only 5 rupees fare. He could hardly even get a supper to eat. And so he wanted to take part into this thing, because although he couldn't get the job and anything, and due to lack of qualification, he couldn't complete up with all these things. So here is in test question 7.1. You can solve that. New words, which is grammar again. 7.1, vocabulary building. Then 7.2 and 7.2 again in test question and new words. Then main grammar, which is clauses. So in the clauses, I basically skip teaching the clauses part for my students also. Like for the past 8 years, I've been teaching NIOS and I haven't got any question related to clauses. So if you want, I'm not that much worried about clauses, because these are just the way how the sentence are supposed to be. So I don't prefer it to be taught, because it has no concern. Students just simply get confused. Now, letters write is the place where you learn how to write an essay according to the 2 topics here. You can choose any one topic, write a good essay, make sure that your teacher looks at it and checks it. If you don't have a teacher to check it, you can send it to me and I will check it for you. And no problem about this thing. And then the Tamil question again as a short form of the story, so that you know what you have studied around and you are able to write the literature part for this thing. So this was all about it. Stay tuned for more the next chapter's video. Thank you very much.